What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Clark Tank. And yeah, this week we are going to be playing Flinthook, which I'm excited about. It's kind of following on our recent trend of playing indie platformers, or at least talking about them. So we didn't play Hollow Knight, but we sure talked about it a lot. And then we played Rain World, and now we're going to play Flinthook. There's quite a bit of buzz around it on Twitter among the people that I follow. I followed its launch, and it did reasonably well, but definitely not as well as Hollow Knight or some others. So I wanted to play it today to see if we could figure out why. I guess in advance, my gut feel, like before playing it, my gut feel would be that, obviously Hollow Knight proved that you can have an indie platformer hit these days, but Hollow Knight did it in a somewhat different way. But yeah, I think there's a few key differences between it and Hollow Knight. First of all, Hollow Knight's art is not really pixel art. I would say Hollow Knight is more in the vein of the latest, kind of like AAA side-scrolling games by Ubi and things like that, where it's just super high-quality, high-res art, not pixel art. So Flinthook is pixel art. Also, Flinthook's art style is more whimsical and cute. It's not super cute, exactly. We should actually, why don't we watch the trailer? Yeah, it's definitely fairly chunky pixels. The color palette, it's not super cute, but it's definitely way more bright than Hollow Knight, which is pretty much black and white. Now this is, I would say, very high quality pixel art, and I like it a lot. But yeah, as Lars is saying, pixel art, no matter how gorgeous, is always going to get people complaining. Like Necrodancer, people give us comments like, this isn't 1985 anymore. We don't have to do pixel art, and it's not like we're doing it because we have to. We're doing it because we like it. But there are a lot of people who say, this is the modern era. We can have proper art now. So yeah, I think you are just going to automatically get some percentage of players who will be turned off by pixel art. Now, how big of a chunk that is, who knows, but it's definitely there, and they're pretty vocal. Did I see the trivia trove thing they did on Twitch? They got on the front page 3 times. Create a big event on Twitch. Raise awareness, more people play it. Yep. Trivia nonstop for 3 days to celebrate the release. Okay, this is like how much time it took them to make it, how many questions there were, how many people watched. 129,000 unique viewers. You've yet to see whether or not it's going to hit with YouTubers, Twitch, etc. Yeah, that is true. However, usually games that are going to be a hit will get into the top 10 or so when they launch, and I do not believe that Flinthook did. I checked when it launched, and it was in the top 50, but I did not see it get that high. But yeah, this trivia trove thing is pretty interesting. Getting 129,000 unique viewers is huge. To actually pay for that, to pay for advertising that would get you that many views, it would be thousands of dollars. So they certainly benefited from the effort. But I think, as I was saying with The Binding of Isaac, I think you need a sustained presence on Twitch and on YouTube in order for it to actually really move your sales. Necrodancer got a PewDiePie video that had 1 million views like immediately, and I think that made us on like that day $10,000, and then we could see that peak like slowly declining, and I estimated that over time it was probably worth like 60K or something like that. But that alone, 1 million plus view YouTube video is not enough to make your game a hit. It'll certainly put some extra sales in your pocket, but it's not going to move the needle permanently. Was there any other news in the last 2 weeks? Any other game industry news that we should discuss? If you guys can think of anything else, throw it up in the chat and we can talk about it. But otherwise, we will move on to our homework, which is checking out the Steam Top 50 and seeing what the latest trends are. And PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, I still see people playing this on Twitch quite a lot. I know lots of my friends are still playing it. Yeah, it's still pretty amazing to me just how powerful this game is, because we played it on the stream, and I was frustrated by the jankiness and things like that. And despite being frustrated by it, I still went back and played it on my own after the stream just because I really wanted to. Which is surprising to me because I don't usually play Clark Tank games that much after the stream, but that one, for some reason, it hooked me. And I have trouble explaining why. I think that it must be that format. Like, I like first-person shooters, and when I was younger, I used to play quite a lot of them. That format, the tension is there constantly. Like, when you're playing Halo, you're running around shooting. When you die, you respawn and things like that. There doesn't feel like there's as much tension. And I guess games like CSGO, you know, have more tension, which could be why this is number 2 as well. So, like, first-person shooters that have tension, you don't just respawn right away. The feeling that you get when you're playing a first-person shooter in that sort of tense situation is different from, you know, the old just run and gun, respawn, shoot more, purely just action all the time. Whereas it's funny, in Battlegrounds, you spend a lot of your time not actually fighting. You spend most of your time like scavenging or hiding or like trying to carefully get places without people seeing you. You spend a lot of time listening carefully and looking very closely to try and see what's going on. And, you know, for some reason that is more engaging. It's like real life, I suppose. And also just the whole King of the Hill aspect, you know, the fact that if you get, the best I've done is I got 2. I've never been number 1. But it's like it's kind of like a built-in high score thing inside yourself, because you know what your best is and you want to be number 1, and yet it's really hard because there's very talented people on there. The top 3 games here are all like high-tension shooter games, first-person shooter games. So there's something there for sure. Obviously, shooter games in general, with things like Overwatch, are still extremely popular. But now it's kind of splintering off into subgenres, with, you know, certain people preferring this style of high tension gameplay. But yeah, like even though I find the game to be very janky and unresponsive and things like that, and I don't like the combat because it doesn't feel as tight as so many other first-person shooters that I've played, and yet I go back in there and I try because I want to be first. And because it's frustrating each time I died. I'm like, oh, I was doing so good. If I had just done this or that, I could have survived. So it's funny that game design, the overall metagame, makes me want to play despite the moment-to-moment gameplay being inferior to many other first-person shooters. So Halo Wars Definitive Edition came out yesterday. I have never played one of these games. And RTS games in general don't seem to sell super well these days, but I could have that feeling not because they don't sell that well, but because there aren't very many of them. Do I think Tooth and Tail will do well? I certainly hope it does. I love those guys, and I hope it does well, but it's tricky. I personally theorize that the reason why MOBAs and things like that became so popular is because people who really liked RTSs, but were not great at the multitasking of looking at all different points on the map constantly, probably prefer MOBAs and Warcraft 3 style games, because you don't have to split your attention. It's more about your skill doing what you're doing, but the rest of the gameplay, you know, feels somewhat similar. So I think that the fact that MOBAs have been succeeding, to me, indicates that Twitch RTSs that require high APM are kind of falling out of favor. Now I think that Tooth and Tail, it still requires some multitasking and things like that, but less than your traditional RTS. So I'm hoping that it will excite the MOBA crowd, the people who like that style of gameplay, and get them involved, and that people who think RTS, that think high APM RTS when they see a game like that, won't be turned off. But yeah, it's possible. All right, Arma 3, it's up here because it's on sale. It's a perennial seller, so of course whenever it's on sale it's going to be up high. Rocket League's perennial seller. Now Dawn of War 3 Warhammer 40,000 version is coming out in a week, so maybe we'll be playing that next Clark Tank, and I expect it to be very near the top of the charts. If it's doing this well, we've been seeing it for the last few Clark Tanks selling well even in pre-orders. So this will be near the top of the charts next week for sure. Now, Rick and Morty Virtual Rick-ality. I have not actually watched Rick and Morty, although I expect I would like it.
Hey you! Are you tired of the same old boring reality day in and day out? Yes, Morty.
What even is this game about? There's alien shooting, there's throwing things out of your garage. for a virtual reality game, this is selling extremely well. So that IP is strong. Subnautica, it must have been on sale, and then now it's dropping. But good to see Subnautica doing well. So Arma 3 is on sale, so the Arma 3 DLC is all doing well as well. Dota 2 is perennial. Nier is hanging out for a long time. Came out over a month ago now. And still sticking around. So yeah, I wonder, does it just have really high retention? I know a lot of people have been playing it on Twitch and on YouTube. Okay, you can't see it behind me here, but 24 hours. So yes, it does have high retention. Yeah, Nier's a very good game, but, you know, if it had low retention, it wouldn't sell as well. Like, that is just the way things work these days. GTA is perennial. It's a bit higher than it has been recently. Okay, Assetto Corsa racing games on sale. Saints Row stuff is on sale. All this stuff is on sale here. A bunch of DLC and things. So Warframe is a free-to-play game. Is perennial, doing well. More Saints Row stuff. Man, the games that have a lot of DLC, when it goes on sale, they just spam the heck out of the charts. All right, there's Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator, which we checked out. In clearly a viable genre and doing something unique in that genre, so not too surprising to see it doing well. Stellaris, its DLC came out like 2 weeks ago and still doing well, but Stellaris was a blockbuster, one of the best-selling games of last year, and I'm sure it's still selling well this year. All right, more Saints Row stuff. So Scrap Mechanics here, I saw it was on sale earlier, so that must be why. Saints Row, Siberia 3, what even are you? I've never even heard of this. Came out yesterday.
Migration must continue. No time to lose.
Siberia is an old adventure series. Oh, it's an adventure game.
From those criminals.
You can
Yeah,
count
it's
on
not
me.
looking so survival-y to me.
The soldiers. We have to go.
So it's like Siberia, the cold Russian province, mixed with cyber stuff.
Leave me alone.
Alright, some more Saints Row stuff, and then there's Everything, which people have been talking about a lot on Twitter. Let's check out its trailer. I've seen really mixed reviews of this.
There gradually arose into being the sensation of I. This play of rhythm and go.
So, I believe that this launched just on the developer's website a little while ago, and lots of reviews were coming out for it and things like that, and people were pretty split about whether they thought that it was super amazing or just, I don't know, self-indulgent, things like that. Was it out on PS4 first? Is that where it was? But yeah, if people say like that, you can be all the different things in the universe, and you can go and inhabit them, and that's the way that four-legged animals move. Apparently, they like rotate over their faces. But you know, regardless of what people think about it, I think that it is great that it's selling quite well on Steam, despite being basically an art game. I don't think that this game is about, you know, game mechanics and things like that. It's an art game, you know, trying to say interesting things and use our medium for something that hasn't been used for before, which is amazing. And to see it right now, it's at number 20. So this is the average over the last 24 hours, but since it came out today, you know, it hasn't had much time to get that average up. But yeah, right now it's at number 20. So for a game like that, you know, like almost like a non-game, people used to get upset about games like that, like Proteus and stuff. To see a game like this selling well is freaking great in my books. It just means that there's a wide expanse of the types of things that we can do with games and be able to make a living doing it. So awesome to see it. I considered playing that today, but I think we'll probably learn more for the types of games that I make anyway. I'm probably unlikely to make a game like that ever. I make mechanics heavy games, so I think we will probably learn more from Flinthook. But still, I'm happy to see everything doing this well. Congrats to the devs there. It's a game about a specific philosopher. Yeah, I guess they have a lot of philosophical voiceover going on throughout the entire game. Some Stalker games on sale. TF2 is perennial. So yeah, Bayonetta came out on Steam and is doing reasonably well, but actually fell off faster than I would have expected, considering how popular that game is. Tom Clancy Ghost Recon Wildlands is slowly falling off the charts, and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom is up here because it's on sale. So that is about it for this week. And so there were other games like Forts. I want to check out Forts because earlier, like maybe a week ago, it was in the charts. And also Flinthook was in the charts, of course.
In the news tonight, war has broken out over the last of the world's superpowers.
Forts is tempting you, Eclipse? Yeah, me too. It looks pretty cool.
My name is Raid. I like what...
Like physics-based games with the right metagame over top of them, I think it's quite viable. But yeah, it must be online multiplayer, yeah. So online multi is, we've talked about before, on the rise. Games that have online multiplayer just make it so that streamers and YouTubers are that much more likely to play it because they love playing games with their friends. There's so many streams that I see these days where streamers are playing something with 4 other people, 4 other streamers who are playing it at the same time. So if your game is online multi, you just immediately have like 3 or 4 times the likelihood that a streamer and YouTuber is going to play it. So I think any decent online multi-game that comes out these days, there is a contingent of streamers and YouTubers who are going to jump all over it and check it out. All right, it is time to play some Flinthook so we can have better formed opinions about indie platformers on Steam and how things are going in that genre. So let us fire it up. I'm excited. Toggling. I gotcha. Oh, there's a map in the top right corner. Whoa. Oh, you can shoot the chest. Found a bounty. The animation is gorgeous. This is a beautiful game. Bad Billy Bullseye. 3,000 bucks. Unblinking leader of the Hardhorn clan. Alright. He's a hard mofo, I guess. We gotta find him. And we gotta kill him. Because we are a cute assassin, apparently. Okay, what are these perks? I find this user interface a little bit confusing. Like, what is currently highlighted? That thing that's raised up? Or she? I wish this gun had more range, but I guess they do that to force you to get up close to things. Man, it pains me that when there's coins and stuff that I can't quite reach. I can't reach in time. Fall through platform maxes out your speed. Yeah, that's an unusual design choice. Like, that got me hit, but it's fine. Don't complain. Or I will, but... Oh, you just gotta shoot his butt? Ooh, it says that that room over there is locked. What? How did we break it? Space meat? What does that do? Shield. But did we already have a shield? It's gone now, though. Okay, so this is what the coins are spent on? We got 1 shield. And the space meat healed us. More stores. Pirates Pep? It's a picture that we would like wreck. Fast blast. We don't need more meat. Okay. Oh, you're in high spirits by adding 5 to your HP. No, is there a health meter on him anywhere? Gotcha. Sweet! We're gonna get to go to a real boss, a bounty. Alright, Bad Billy Bullseye. One mean scallywag. Time for him to get what's coming to him. There he is. He's tiny. Is he gonna ride on that thing, I bet? Nice. I realized it was gonna... You have to flint hook the bubble off its butt and then shoot it. Okay, a couple more. Die. Bad Billy Bullseye Rex is now available in the black market. What does that even mean? We did it! Is it like discrete runs? So that was like a run and it's over now, and now we just run until we beat the next guy? Level 3. We've unlocked. Oh, we got some achievements. Level 4. So this is our experience. Level 5. Holy smokes. Black market restocked. Come have a look at the new stuff. Gotta feed my buddy. Level 6. Level 7. We had a good run there, I guess. Rewarded with gold for flawless battles against the pirate hordes. That'd be nice. Rewarded with gold for ending battles swiftly. And these are all things that we have. Frost Globe. Unlocks the Frost Globe, a sub-weapon capable of freezing your enemies for a short amount of time. That's cool. And then more perk slots. Alright, so yeah, I think I get the general idea now how Flinthook works. As I said, the closest games, as far as I can tell, would be Rogue Legacy and The Binding of Isaac. The map system, the store system and stuff is somewhat similar to Binding of Isaac. And yeah, the metagame and stuff is somewhat similar to Rogue Legacy. But the combat style is unique and interesting. I did have fun. I felt like I was getting better at it. But yeah, it launched a couple days ago and was in the top 50. I didn't see exactly how high it got, but I was hoping that it would hit the top 10, and it seemed like perhaps it didn't. I think it will go on to do reasonably well, but doesn't seem like it's going to be, you know, a big hit like $5-10 million kind of thing. But hopefully in the low million range. Certainly extremely well polished graphically, and the controls felt pretty good. Although we did discuss that one weird thing when you drop through quickly, when you drop through platforms. But that wasn't too much of a problem after I realized it, after the first time that I took damage because of it. But yeah, I do think that the metagame here is not quite as compelling as the one in Rogue Legacy. It's a bit less clear. In Rogue Legacy, see, in certain games, we had this trouble with Necrodancer as well. In certain games like Rogue Legacy, you can just increase damage percent. Like you could say like plus 10% damage, and Binding of Isaac is similar. But with Necrodancer, you're doing damage in increments of 1. And with this game, a lot of the enemies died in just a couple of shots anyway. Whereas with the Binding of Isaac and Rogue Legacy, you beat on things for quite a while. And yeah, having more health and stamina and things like that is another thing you can increase in small percentages. So I don't know, for whatever reason, I found the Rogue Legacy metagame to be more compelling, and that you're unlocking more stuff to get more stuff in the way that it's visually laid out, whereas this is kind of a list of things that you can get. It's still good though, and I do think that more indie games need to add a meta layer like this. Like, we lost early on, but it takes the sting away from that loss, because you know you did make some progress, you unlock some things, it'll be easier the next time. Yeah, it's a solid, well-made game. It seems like it's doing reasonably well. I hope it continues and has a strong tail. But yeah, I think there's a few ways in which I prefer Rogue Legacy. Also, I've talked before about the Binding of Isaac and some of the stuff that we learned from it for Necrodancer. With its stores and things. One of the coolest things about Binding of Isaac is that there's lots of different ways you can do any one thing, and you can treat, you know, your bombs and things and your keys as currency, and in fact you can kind of like interchange them in certain circumstances. And we tried to do that same sort of thing with Necrodancer as well, that you could use your bombs to turn them into money, or you could use your bombs to fight the shopkeepers. So there's always like 3 or 4 different things you could do anytime you encounter a shop, if you want to try and get the things that are in the shop if you don't have the funds currently. And I felt like there weren't so many options in that way in this. It's mostly you fight the things, you make your choices to buy or not, you fight more things. So there didn't seem to be quite as much of a depth of strategy, but what was there was really fun, and yeah, the metagame would keep me going for a while. And yeah, the art style, the polish was great. So I think that's my take on it. It's good to see more indie platformers succeeding, and yeah, as I said, hopefully it continues to sell well in the future and have a nice long strong tail for them. But I think that is going to wrap it up for this Clark Tank. See you guys again soon. This Clark Tank is over.